NXT Battleground is taking place this Sunday, May the 28th, 8 PM Eastern Time, 7 PM Central, which means 1 AM for those watching in the UK. Will be taking place in the Tonga Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. We've got 6 matches to discuss with a couple of fun gimmick matches that have been added. We've got championships on the line and guaranteed a brand new champion. You can't say that on every show. The NXT Women's Championship is currently vacant, and the first match I will be discussing, of course, Indy Hartwell was the champion who vacated the championship after picking up an injury and also was drafted to Monday Night Raw in the WWE Draft 2023. There was a tournament to crown a brand new champion, and the finalists are Lyra Valkyria going against Tiffany Stratton. Lyra Valkyria defeating Kiana James and Cora Jade to get to this position. Of course, Cora Jade did attack her after the semi-final defeat, hitting a kendo stick against Lyra's leg. That could play into the final here. Tiffany Stratton, on the other hand, going against Gigi Dolan successfully in the first round, and of course then beating Roxanne Perez this past week on NXT. With a final set in stone, and of course Lyra having basically one leg that's already been taken out, that is a natural target there for Tiffany Stratton to go and pick up the victory. She will beat my prediction. I feel like she was going to be the NXT Women's Champion at WrestleMania before Indy won the championship, so I guess that was just delayed at that moment. It feels like the right time for Tiffany to wear the strap, but for me, I like that it's been 2 breakout stars in this tournament. Tiffany and Lyra both get into the final. Does make a statement in NXT that we're not going to have the same faces at the top all the time. Of course, Lyra, after she, in my opinion, loses here, can go back to another feud with Cora Jade to have another blow-off match. Roxanne Perez looks to have been attacked by the masked person in NXT right now, who I reckon will end up being Bea Priestley. Of course, that was Blair Davenport when she was in NXT previously, and of course that means Tiffany Stratton will pretty much have an open field of who she could face next. Perhaps maybe she could revisit a program with Gigi Dolan, who I reckon will be beating Jacy Jayne in a weaponized steel cage match the following NXT after Battleground. Moving on, in the meantime, let's talk about the NXT North American Championship. Wesley defending against Joe Gacy and Tyler Bate. Wesley, of course, here, 2 challengers. One pretty much making his claim he wants to win that championship, is not there to be a friend, and also calling out the guy who was being Wesley's friend, who secretly just wanted the championship. Who does Wesley trust? Well, clearly he can't trust anyone whilst he's North American champion. Even if Tyler Bate has the best intentions, of course he's going to want to be a champion in NXT. This should be a fun freeway. For me, I'm going to go for Wesley to retain. Wesley has been an unbelievable North American champion, going against all odds, multiple challenges at a time. I think here that Gacy and Bate will cancel each other out. Wesley will retain. I expect Wesley to pin Joe Gacy, therefore we can get a Wesley versus Tyler Bate match at some point on NXT TV in the singles match for that North American Championship. Moving on for the NXT Tag Team Championships, we've got Gallus going against the Creed brothers. I really thought we were going to get Gallus versus Tony D'Angelo and Stacks, but well, Tony D'Angelo has been arrested, and of course he's not going to be taking part at this show. Stacks has even up the numbers for the Creed brothers, going up against Gallus in the meantime this past week on NXT TV. Perhaps they are delaying the opportunity for Tony D'Angelo and Stacks to win these championships potentially in the distant future, or an injury has taken part, and that's why Tony D'Angelo has been written out of storyline for the time being. But the Creed brothers for me are a fantastic tag team. I love their work in NXT. In fact, I think they're ready for Raw and SmackDown. But we've had this match with the Creeds and Gallus before. I do expect the result to be the same. I think Gallus will get the advantage here, will pick up the W, and I think that Gallus will eventually face Tony D'Angelo and challenge Stacks Lorenzo, perhaps at the next NXT TakeOver special. Moving on to the Heritage Cup, we've got the champion Noam Dar defending against Dragon Lee. For those who are not familiar with the Heritage Cup, so we have 6 rounds that are going to happen in this match, kind of like a boxing, if you will. 3-minute rounds each time as well. There'll be a 20-second interval after each round as well to go to your trainer. And of course, there will be 2 out of 3 falls in those 6 rounds, so a potential 18 minutes in total. And like I said, 2 out of 3 falls, so you can win via pinfall, you can win via submission, you can win a fall via countout. Should there be a DQ or a technical knockout, the match will finish straight away, and of course that other person then will be the Heritage Cup winner from well, from my understanding, especially as well with a DQ. It would be understandable, of course, if there was a knockout. But it should be a fun match. Of course, this, I believe, is the first time the Heritage Cup has been done for NXT in the US. Noam has been the longest reigning Heritage Cup holder. But for me, Dragon Lee, just coming to WWE, this is hot property. Dragon Lee, obviously, they must see something he could be quite well suited to this style. Otherwise, I'm not sure why they put him in this match. Personally, for me, my favourite Heritage Cup holder has been Axiom, or aka A-Kid, back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for this at some point in the future. But for me, I'm going to go for Dragon Lee to pick up the win here. Noam did lose on NXT TV this past week to Nathan Frazier. That could be a sign that Noam could be winning here on this show. Perhaps maybe he'll find a cheeky DQ way to win the match. We'll have to wait and see. But for me, like I said, Dragon Lee, absolute hot property. For me, is a future, could be a future Rey Mysterio if booked correctly in WWE. Certainly got all the tools to do so. For me, I think Dragon Lee needs to be winning on these special occasions, so I will be putting my money on Dragon Lee to pick up the W. We've got a last man standing match with Ilja Dragunov versus Dijak. These two have been inseparable backstage when it comes to exchanging blows, especially this past week on NXT. A night-long feud going on between these two, multiple brawls, multiple pull-aparts, even to sign the contract that there would be peace up until this show. Of course, Dijak was torturing Ilja Dragunov as well to try and get him to submit previously. It did make me wonder if we were going to get a submission match at that time or an I Quit match. Personally, I do prefer the last man standing stipulation, although I do think it does give a way to give an escape route here and protect both stars. I've got a feeling this is going to end in a draw. I don't know, something just tells me we're going to get maybe a double table spot or something like that that will lead this to being a draw and no one wins. It has done it previously in WWE. It wouldn't be a strange to do that before, but if there's going to be a winner and I had to put my money on someone, I'm going to go for Ilja Dragunov because personally, I've seen the rumours Dragunov could be a part of Imperium at some point further down the line. I actually think he'd be a great fit for that on the main roster as well. Being the mid-card guy when Gunther is ready to go for that World Championship. And of course, then you've got the tag team Vinci and Kaiser. That would be the perfect faction. So for me, you want to keep Ilja Dragunov strong. So if there's going to be a winner, I will go for Ilja Dragunov. But like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a draw. Last but not least, the hometown boy Carmelo Hayes will be defending the NXT Championship against a newly heel Bron Breakker. I mean, you could say a newly babyface Carmelo Hayes as well. Both have switched roles since WrestleMania weekend of Stand and Deliver. Carmelo Hayes, for me, has just won the NXT Championship, although Bron Breakker really feels like he's well suited to this new role of being a heel. Absolutely destroying everybody, spearing Carmelo Hayes through a wall as well in NXT. It's had a couple of brutal looking spear spots actually. I think Carmelo Hayes came off the ring rope at one point to go into one of those. It looked gruesome and it looked beautiful. Of course, Bron Breakker has been destroying so many people on the NXT roster as well, including Andre Chase from Chase U. Of course, Trick Williams has been another one as well. And of course, the newly makeshift tag team, of course, that included Hank Walker as well this past week on NXT. But to give a prediction, sometimes WWE doesn't favour hometown, and that usually could mean we could get a title change. But for me, I think Carmelo Hayes is going to do it. I think this is just done for Bron Breakker to nurture this new character, so it's ready for the main roster when they want to call him up. Bron has already said that Carmelo can carry the bandon of the NXT Championship and the NXT crowd, and I personally think that Carmelo Hayes will be retaining that championship and doing just that. So that's my predictions there for NXT Battleground. All in all, I'm quite looking forward to this show. I think there's some tasty matches on offer, but it's time to let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this show? What are your predictions if so? And if you've enjoyed the video, like I say, make sure to like the video, share it with a friend as well, and subscribe to SCW. Thank you for watching. As always, you can check out my WWE Night of Champions predictions that's already on the channel, along with Impact Wrestling Under Siege, and tomorrow will be AEW Double or Nothing live stream, so make sure to come and check that out. But thanks for watching, look after yourselves, have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you next time.